Good evening, Doc. Good evening, classmates. I'm Julius Von Ignacio. I will discuss to you the other part of the chapter 5, which is about the feasibility study. My topic is about the technical aspect, financial aspect, economic and legal aspect. Let us first discuss about the technical aspect. The technical aspect of a project idea can be scrutinized in detail to evaluate its technical feasibility. Technical analysis distinct from commercial, financial, economic, and managerial feasibility. Technical feasibility is one of the first studies that must be conducted after a project has been identified. Its purpose is to ensure that the project is technically feasible in the sense that all the inputs required to set up the project are available. It is also to facilitate the most optimal formulation of the project in terms of technology, size, location, and so on. It also helps to choose best alternative. There are factors under technical aspect that we need to consider. First is the location and site. Second is layout. Third is machinery and equipment. Fourth is environment impact assessment. Fifth is the inputs. Sixth is infrastructural facilities. And last is manpower. Let us first discuss the location and site. A thorough and comparative analysis for each potential location should be made to determine the most ideal site. It has to consider the following factors. First is the accessibility to and availability of raw material sources. Second is the availability of cheap or moderately priced utilities such as power, water, or fuel. Next is the combined cost of transporting raw materials and fuel to the site. Fourth is the proximity to distributing outlets. Fifth is the availability of skilled and unskilled labor. Sixth is the maps and charts of the proposed site must be included. Second factor under technical aspect is the technology. Technology is a critical aspect of technical analysis of any project, so it must be analyzed effectively. For example, a technology which has proven itself in cold climates may fail in tropical climate. Technology's cost of acquisition, installation, repairs, and maintenance should be analyzed properly. A technology is considered appropriate only if it is assessed to be satisfactory and relevant. Third factor of technical aspect is the layout. The layout should be clearly depicted from diagrams and descriptions. A good layout is characterized by minimum material handling, effective space utilization, smooth workflow, safe and conductive working area for the workers, safety and sanitation facilities, and the flexibility of arrangements. The fourth factor under technical aspect is the machinery and equipment. What type of equipment and technology will the business need to produce its product or service? What costs are involved to purchase and set up the equipment? What are the costs involved in the ongoing running of the equipment? There are questions that need to be considered before getting the equipment suppliers. Who are the potential suppliers of the equipment? Where are they located? What sort of service and warranties do they provide? How long will it take to acquire the equipment and begin operations? Next factor under technical aspect is the environmental impact assessment. This study identifies the environment in which a project is to be implemented, assesses the short and long-term impacts. Surface water quality, air quality, seismology or geology, erosion, land quality, fisheries, forests, terrestrial wildlife, noise, archaeological historical significance, and public health. Other factor is the inputs. These relate to the operation phase of the project, but need to be identified at this stage of the technical study to examine the technical feasibility of the proposed system. There are classifications of the inputs. First, the raw materials, process materials, water and steam, gas, fuels, and electricity. Next factor is the infrastructural facilities. Availability and characteristics of roads, bridges, railway facilities like station yards, air transportation, waterways, ports, etc., depending upon their relevance to the assessed requirements of the project at both implementation and operation stages need to be studied. A large part of the land area is normally required to be reserved for service roads, stormwater mains, railways, overground or overhead gas, steam and air pipelines, water reservoir, and even harbors for certain large-scale industrial projects. A detailed study of all such requirements and of their implications in terms of time, resources, and approximate costs is necessary to avoid surprises later on. The last factor under technical aspect is the manpower. The availability in needed numbers of manpower of requisite skills where and when required has to be studied. Manpower covers both the project implementation and the operation and maintenance phases. In case comparting of training is also involved, timely availability and cost of the training facilities have also to be assessed. After the technical aspect, let's proceed to financial aspect. Financial aspect seeks to ascertain whether the proposed project will be financially viable in the sense of being able to meet the burden of servicing debt and whether the proposed project will satisfy the return expectations of those who provide the capital. The aspects which have to be looked into while conducting financial appraisal are investment outlay and cost of project, means of financing, project profitability, break-even point, cash flows of the project, investment worthwhileness judged in terms of various criteria of merit, and the projected financial position. Investment outlay refers to the financial resources committed to an investment. The cost of project represents the total of all items of outlay associated with the project which are supported by long-term funds. The major cost elements of a project are the following: land and site development, buildings and civil works, plant and machinery, technical know-how fees, fixed assets, preliminary and capital issue expenses, margin money for working capital, and initial cash losses. Means of financing. Means by which a budget deficit is financed or a surplus is used. Means of financing are not included in the budget totals. The primary means of financing is borrowing from the public. In general, the cumulative amount borrowed from the public or debt held by the public will increase if there is a deficit and decrease if there is a surplus. Although other factors can affect the amount that the government must borrow, those factors known as other means of financing include reductions or increases in the government's cash balances, changes in outstanding checks, changes in accrued interest costs included in the budget but not yet paid, and cash flows reflected in credit financing accounts. To meet the cost of project, the following means of finance are available. First is the share capital. Second, term loans. Third, debenture capital. Fourth, deferred credit. Fifth, incentive sources. Sixth is the miscellaneous sources. The project profitability report is used to monitor the planned and real costs related to a project. Project profitability is the state or condition of a project to describe the yielding of a financial profit or gain from that project. It is a measure of project operational efficiency in terms of financial benefits. As a rule, it is calculated by the cost-income ratio. Estimation of the major activity that ensures project profitability. Through estimating project parameters such as cost, performance, and time, it is possible to determine how the project is changed and to explore current status of project benefits. Break-even point. At this point, the income of the business exactly equals its expenditure. If production is enhanced beyond this level, profit shall accrue to the business, and if it is decreased from this level, loss shall be suffered by the business. The break-even point is the point where the gains equal the losses. The point defines when an investment will generate a positive return. The point where sales or revenues equal expenses. The point where total costs equal total revenues. There is no profit made or loss incurred at the break-even point. It is the lower limit of profit when prices are set and margins are determined. Cash flows of the project. When beginning capital budgeting analysis, it is important to determine a project's cash flows. These cash flows can be segmented as follows. First, initial investment outlay. These are the costs that are needed to start the project, such as new equipment, installation, etc. Second, operating cash flow over a project's life. This is the additional cash flow a new project generates. Third, terminal year cash flow. This is the final cash flow, both the inflows and outflows, at the end of the project's life. For example, potential salvage value at the end of a machine's life. Projected financial position. Projected financial statements is summary of various component projections of revenues and expenses for the budget period. They indicate the expected net income for the period. Projected financial statements are an important tool in determining the overall performance of a company. They include the balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statements to indicate the company performance. After the technical and financial aspect, let's proceed to economic and legal aspect. Economic aspect is where analysis of a project's costs and revenues in an effort to determine whether or not it is logical and possible to complete. There are two types of project benefits under economic feasibility. First is the tangible benefits. Under this, reduce and avoid costs, reduce error, more flexible, faster activities, improve control and planning, new market niche, and increasing sales opportunities. Under intangible is maintain competitiveness, increase organizational flexibility, raise morale, promote learning and understanding, timely information. Under the project costs, there are two types also, the tangible and tangible. Under tangible costs, system development, hardware and software procurement, users and staff training, site preparation, data or system conversion. Under intangible costs, maintenance and support, incremental data storage, expense, incremental communications, new software and hardware leases, consumables. How do we estimate economical benefits? Economical benefits are usually estimated with historical information of similar projects, future taxation and inflation estimates, scale and scope of the project, anticipation of other competing projects. Under the legal requirements, when business has determined the viability of its business concept and readiness to set up its business, one of the first steps is to register the business name. But before doing so, he must decide if he is going to be a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a corporation, or a society. Each has important implications for liability, taxation, and succession planning. When the new owner operates his business under a name that other than his own, he needs to register that name because It will require proof of business registration to open bank accounts, apply for loans, and many other business startup and business building activities. Register the business with the corresponding department or agency. Sole proprietorships must be registered with the Department of Trade and Industry or the DTI. Partnerships and corporations, on the other hand, must be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission or SEC. The name of the business is also included in the registration. Obtain a business permit. Head to the local government unit of the place you intend to operate your business in. Secure a business or mayor's permit. Each municipality has its own specific requirements and procedures for the registration of businesses. So be sure to check the individual websites of these areas for more information. Many of the basic requirements include DTI or SEC registration form, barangay clearance, zoning clearance, sketch of the location, land title or contract of lease, community tax certificate, public liability insurance, occupancy permit, sanitary permit, environmental permit, fire permit, and other additional documents or permits. Third step is to register with the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. After obtaining the necessary documents and permits, register the business with the BIR. Business owners need to get a taxpayer identification number or TIN from the Revenue District Office or RDO within the registered location of the business. Fourth steps to register with the SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig Fund. If you hire employees, register them with the necessary government programs. The Social Security System, or SSS, is a social insurance program that collects the monthly contribution of employees along with the share of their employer. The SSS gives employees health and retirement benefits from their monthly contributions along with a variety of small loans. An SSS membership is mandatory for all employees who are 60 years old and below. The PhilHealth Insurance Corporation or the PhilHealth is another government agency that requires monthly contributions from the employee and the employer. The Home Development Mutual Fund or Pag-ibig Fund provides a variety of housing loans to employees. Monthly contributions are deducted from the salary of the employee. Additional requirements. Aside from the requirements mentioned above, there are also other special requirements that businesses need. These requirements depend on the nature of the business and their corresponding industry. If you intend to open a school or offer training or educational programs, register with the Department of Education. For businesses that sell food products, register with the Bureau of Food and Drugs or the BFAD. Legal feasibility. It is a measure of how well a solution can be implemented within existing legal or contractual obligations. It includes study concerning contracts, liability, violations, and legal other terms frequently unknown to the technical staff. It determines whether the proposed system conflicts with legal requirements. Study of legal issues related to the project. Copyrights or patent laws, legal requirements for financial reporting, antitrust laws, labor relations and regulations, safety regulation, union contracts, national data and work laws. And that ends my report. Thank you.